Solana ETF approved. But it's not what you think. It's not what you think. But yes, a second Solana ETF has been approved. But unfortunately, well, we'll get into the video because there's a lot to be desired still with Solana and the rest of the altcoin market in the United States. But I guess it just depends on where you are in the entire world. So we're going to get into it, guys. I'm going to give you guys the fresh news on Solana ETFs, hot off the press here today. And as always, we come at you every single day giving you guys your latest crypto news and information that you need to know to keep you guys informed, to keep you all ready to go and prepared to make money in this crazy game we call life and crypto. So yes, hopefully you're subscribed. If not, hopefully you will be here very, very soon. Before we dive into the article itself, really quickly though, just taking a look at the overall market. Solana, speaking of Sol, down a little bit today. Rest of the market, pretty flat. We started out pretty hot today, but Bitcoin has fallen now to 59,000. Ethereum, same thing, fallen a little bit, down 1.65%. We have some cryptos still up. A lot of people still excited with Brett. Eventually here, looks like getting it listed on Binance. We start with obviously the process and plays it out until you get to the main exchange. But we also are seeing a couple other cryptos make some decent runs today, going against the grain. Floki, Arweave, Tron, WIF, AVAX, Polygon, Gala, a few of those up 6+% or more, which is great. But when it comes to this whole Solana news, guys, this is very, very interesting. And, you know, we've talked about the United States falling behind, lagging behind the rest of the world in a lot of different parts of the world. Well, this is what we're talking about, okay? This is what we mean. And let me make this even a little bit easier for you guys to see. Full screen it. There we go. So check this out. A second Solana ETF has been approved in Brazil. Now, this is coming in from CoinDesk. Okay, and the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission, or CVM, has approved a second Solana exchange-traded fund, or ETF. The agency disclosed in its central database today. Now, according to CVM database, the new Solana ETF, which is in a pre-operational phase, will be offered by Brazil-based Hashdex, which is a Brazil-based asset manager currently managing over $962 million in assets currently under management in partnership with a local investment bank, BTG Pactual. Now, Hashdex is an experienced player in the ETF segment on the B3 Brazilian Stock Exchange, having already launched products such as the NASDAQ Crypto Index as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum-based ETFs. So again, while the United States drags their feet here and tries to figure out what they want to do with the rest of the market outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And by the way, I'm excited where we've gotten here in 2024 with at least getting a Bitcoin ETF, at least getting an Ethereum ETF. Recently, I think it was back in May, late May, right, where we actually got some really good news on the FIT 21 bill. We had some bipartisan support from Democrats and Republicans. Like, we're making progress, albeit it's really slow progress in the United States. And that's worrisome because the United States has always been about innovation. It's always been about pushing the envelope. It's always been about being first to new technologies and adopting these new technologies and creating the best companies within this new era, new technology sector. And when it comes to blockchain, yes, some of the great companies are coming out here, but they're not able to operate efficiently. I don't know if we're moving fast enough, right? We're seeing Solana ETFs now get approved, 2 of them now in Brazil. And here in the United States, we've pushed back on all of that. Outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're pushing back, moving deadlines, moving dates. So that's kind of frustrating. But on August 8th, by the way, the CVM approved the country's first Solana ETF, this one offered by Brazil-based asset manager QR Asset. So, hey, it's great news for Solana in general. And that's the great thing about crypto is it's a global market. You know, there are still very, very big ways that somebody just invested in Solana, depending on where they are, benefits from these type of news stories, benefits from just widespread adoption. I get that. And I do think Solana has a great chance to eventually get an ETF. But if I'm looking at it in the United States, Bitcoin and Ethereum make up 70% of the market. And if I'm trying to get in the minds or in the heads of regulators, right? Because Bitcoin dominance, 55.8%. Ethereum is 15%. Okay? So we are literally at 71% of the overall market comes in these two. And I think in a lot of ways, the powers that be are looking and saying, okay, well, let's get exposure to 70% of the market, and then we'll figure out what to do with the rest later. We'll figure out what to do with the other 30% somewhere down the line. And maybe they'll even try to depress everything else, bring up Bitcoin and Ethereum, and basically everything else, no, we don't want it. It's not needed. We've got Ethereum for smart contracts. We've got Ethereum for RWA. BlackRock, we know, is going heavy there. We don't need anything else. But if there's one thing that I think is interesting that I think will at least come to fruition or rear its head here, and I think it's happening right now, it's got to be XRP. Now, I hope it's Solana. I hope it's some of these other key big layer ones, right? Toncoin, Cardano, AVAX, even Tron and Dogecoin. Some of these other, it's Solana. Obviously, Solana's huge market cap-wise. It's burst on the scene. But the pushback is frustrating. I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, maybe it's, new people in senator positions, Congress positions. Obviously, we do have some bipartisan support. Now, there are some people in Congress, people in Senate, in the House that obviously want to see crypto flourish. And maybe it's just a changing of the guard enough where we do get a Solana ETF. We do get, hey, you can invest in this basket of top 20 cryptos here. If you want exposure to some of the other big players here in the markets, some of these other top layer ones outside of Ethereum, you want to, maybe you want exposure to top 100 meme coins or want exposure to some AI cryptos. I just don't know how we can get to move the ball forward quicker in the United States. So yeah, a Solana ETF has been approved, the second one in Brazil, all while the United States continues to linger here and basically try to figure out what they want to do with the rest of this space. It's great that Bitcoin and Ethereum are now solidified for all intents and purposes with ETFs. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. But what about everything else? And I think that's where the focus and the attention needs to shift here. When we talk about the macro, when we talk about, more regulation and more guardrails in place. I mean, let's just face it, guys. What is a security? What's going to constitute a security in the digital asset world? Are we going to use the old archaic Howey test still? Or are we going to come up with new guidelines and guardrails that are better suited for innovation, that are better suited for 2024? Let me know what you guys think about this down below. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, let me know by subscribing and smashing the like button. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.